Today, I'm breaking down everything you need to go from level 1 all the way up to that big milestone level 65. I'll show you the fastest weapons to level, the must farm resources if you actually want to survive, the perks you absolutely need, because if you skip these, you'll be rage quitting faster than your ranked teammate. Miss this and you'll regret it. So smash that like button and subscribe. More new world content is always coming. And if you want to join the Hall of Fame, we got cookies, a shiny badge, and yes, I'll even be your own personal poodle. So go ahead and become a YouTube channel member now. Let's jump into weapons. In New World, there's a solid list of 15 beautiful, juicy weapons. They are broken into 4 categories. One-handed for those who are busy with their right hand, two-handed for the big boys, range for the rat, and the magical wizards that love casting more disappointment than their parents did on them when they were a child. If you guys are curious which stat each weapon will scale off of, come over here to attributes and then hover over any weapon of your choosing, and it will tell you exactly how the weapon scales. So rapier, 90 dexterity, 65 intelligence. That's what I call a 2-for-1 bargain. That means you could pair this with an int weapon with relatively good scaling, as you can come over here to your gems and slot an int gem into your weapon like so. This will change the scaling to intelligence, allowing you to run pretty much any weapon in the entire game with any weapon. So if you want to become an active terrorist, I say go for it. This world needs a bit more fun. In New World Aeternum, of course. But if we're looking for pure speed, we are sniffing that good stuff speed. Hatchet, Greatsword, I think is the best way to level. Greatsword, massive DPS. Hatchet, very strong DPS, good mobility. And it also is a ranged weapon, so you can pull mobs from afar. If you guys are curious about what class to start out with, I want to break down a few more key mechanics before I get into that, so you understand exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Now, let's talk about how to level from 1 to 65. When you first get out of the tutorial in your World Aeternum, you'll spawn on this beach like a fresh sea turtle, afraid and desperately trying to get back to your homeland. Open up your map. Your location will either be Monarch's Bluff or Windsward. You cannot change this. Once it's been set in stone for the rest of your life, just like your destiny. And the only way out is to re-roll. So, better get your dice and roll until you get into the same location as your friend if you want to play with them. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until about 4 or 5 hours in to finally meet up and hold hands and kiss each other on the cheeks because you're good homies. You will then see, once you're on the beach, you'll run up to this watchtower. There'll be this hairy man that looks like a Viking fellow. My brother's in arms. That's kind of what I look like in real life. A hairy gorilla. He will give you the main story quest line. This quest right here, you want to follow this until your eyes bleed, until your brain turns into pudding, as this is the fastest way to level, and there's very good rewards along the way. At the end of the quest, you will get these beautiful attuned leather pants. These are crucial for any DPS enjoyer for PvE, as this pretty much is required to get into endgame raids and to do dungeons alike. So you are not done that main story questline until these are in your back pocket. But there is a few important tips and tricks along the way that will make your life 10 times easier. I'm going to cover those right now. Once you're level 17, you'll unlock your faction vendor. There'll be these quests scattered around Everfall. Covenant will be here. Syndicate is there. And the Green Goblins right here. Lieutenant Tibbs, if you want to join the Green Gremlins. Out on practice missions and give you a bit of lore behind the faction. Once you've done those practice quests or trials as they call them, head over to the faction vendor of your choice. When you talk to them, you will now be locked in like a hostage. You can't get out for 30 days. But they do have some cool rewards. Open them up, they'll give you 3 bonuses. These things are like treats for doing your dailies. They'll give you gold, XP, and some nice tokens. These tokens can be used to buy rewards from your faction vendor. They have gear. They have goodies such as tools. To be honest, there's more treats and goodies in here than in my bank account because that thing is drier than the desert. But let's scroll all the way down because you're going to want to max this guy out as he gives you access to gypsum orbs. These orbs can be used to make a plethora of gold at the late game. They also give you access to chromatic seals, which are pivotal to upgrading your gear later on. But what's the main difference between the Marauders, the Covenant, and the Syndicate? Well, mainly just style. The drip, immaculate. My favorite drip, personally, has got to go to the Covenant. I love those bad boys, but to be honest, the Gremlins, it's where it's at, because we fiend for that loot. Quick, important tip. Open up your map. Here you can see the faction controls. What does this mean? This means they got a good real estate agent, and you are in poverty if you're part of the Green Squad living in the sewers. But more importantly, you cannot change into the faction that has the highest color on the map. So purple has 5 territories. That means if I was green, I cannot change into purple even after my 30-day trial was up. You can also get access to these cards in each settlement. These cards will give you a free couple of resources when you pass them. The only catch is your faction has to own the territory for you to get access to these supply cards. So if you are interested in that, pick the most popular faction. Also, grab honey, because it's in every town and it sells for a little bit of gold on the market. And I know right now you're in a cardboard box. But I bet you're wondering how you got this bad boy, the mount. Let's talk about him next. Before we get into our mount, you can now flag once you've joined a faction by hitting U on keyboard and mouse. You have to do this either in the settlement or at a way shrine scattered around the map. You cannot flag mid-open world. But our mount, this one, we unlock when we come of drinking age, level 20. Want to come over to your bald friend. This man has more hair than me. That's a tragedy. But talk to him. He'll send you on your merry way to unlock your first mount. You can then pick your skin either by in the shop or by buying something from the bald gremlin himself. There will also be races scattered around the map. I highly recommend doing these, as this will increase your mount speed significantly. Plus, they're just a lot of fun, as you get to see a beautiful landscape, something World Aeternum does fantastic. Now that we're done with our mount, what do you gather along your journey? Because you're going to be seeing a lot of trees, a lot of rocks, and a lot of hemp that looks like a suspicious plant. It gets you higher than a kite. Now, while you're traveling across Aeternum, you'll be going on quite the journey. Make sure you lock in your inn at the city you're going to be doing quests in, as this allows you to fast travel back by just opening up your map, clicking on the settlement, and clicking recall to either the house or recall to inn. You can locate these simply by seeing the moon in the town. These have a 30-minute cooldown once you use them, so use them sparingly. Now, what about your house? I'd recommend waiting until you can afford the most expensive house, as you get a discount on your first house purchase, and that is very crucial to storage in the later game, as the bigger the house, the more things you can pack inside and hoard like a greedy goblin. But now let's talk about trade skills, what to gather in the open world, and how exactly to do this efficiently. As you cross the landscape like a wild, untamed animal, you'll come across resources that you're going to want to consume, such as hemp, trees to deforest like the Amazon, and rocks you want to smash into a million pieces. You pretty much want to gather everything, as it's useful and you can sell it on the market for gold. But there's a few efficient ways to do this. Open up your inventory, click Tools. Here, you'll see your music, your bags, and the tools you can use to gather. First step, make sure you always have a good bag on you. You get 2 of these by doing a quest. One is an Ebon skill, so that's not until the extreme late game of level 60, but you should be able to find some cheap ones on the market. After you have your bag secured, next, make sure you got the tools for the job. You can skin, mine, gather, and chop. Each tool gives you a plethora of perks. But right now, you're just trying to get the gathering speed, as iron tools, they gather slower than a snail, and you're going to be there for an eternity. So I recommend moving on to the next tier as fast as you can acquire them. This will cost you a bit of gold along the journey. If you want, you can craft them yourself by going to your settlement and heading over to the woodwork station. Now that we're at the workshop, the icon looks like this. We open this bad boy up. Then you can scroll down and you'll see the access to iron tools, flint tools, and you can craft them yourselves. I recommend crafting iron, but after that, it's much cheaper to go to the trading post. Make sure if you do choose to craft, you click the cheapest resources on the bottom, as this will save you a ton of gold later. Just click on own and it'll show you exactly what you can craft that tool with. Make sure you always use Azoth as well, as this will guarantee you a perk. Now let's head over to the marketplace, as it's time to drop some coin. Harder than I was dropped when I was a kid. Click the pickaxe, smash gathering tools. Pick the one of your choosing. Let's do a pickaxe. Steel pickaxe, it's a little expensive, but even a star metal pickaxe is only 200 gold. This is 10 times cheaper than it would cost you to level up your engineering to make your own pickaxe. Yes, crafting is very profitable in the late game, but in the early game, you got less money than a 14-year-old kid trying to find a part-time job. You're just broke. So I highly recommend waiting till you're 65 max level and you got a bit more coin in your pocket before you start looking to grind up those levels. Next up, music. It's time to get into a band and play some tunes. It's on the surface, it seems useless, but it actually does have a very useful practical effect. Click on the song of your choosing. At the bottom here, you'll see rewards. Click effect. Increase gathering speed and territory standing. There's even more effects than this, depending on the amount of songs you've unlocked and which songs you are playing. You don't need good musical instruments. They're not that important. They're just kind of more for fun. While you're exterminating new species of animals, deforesting entire nations, you'll be leveling up your territory. Hit map. Click the left hand side here, and then click the territory that you're in. You'll see rewards here. Here, there is a very important priority to keep in mind, as if you don't pick the right ones, this could screw you over for the entire time you're playing the game. Because you can never undo these, just like the mistakes I have made by talking to girls in my past, and it's still traumatizing me. Number 1, always pick storage if you see it. Number 2, make a trading town. This will save you tens of thousands of gold the more you play. After that, I would say increase your gathering speed, your territory standing, and then your crafting fee, in that order. When you go to create your character, make sure you pick the server that your friend is in. You can do that by clicking this beautiful globe, and it'll show you these servers for that region. If you want to change region, click region and change it to whatever region you want to be locked in for the rest of eternity. It's like a jail cell on the west. Don't recommend coming over here. There's some weirdos. Click create character once you've decided. Next up, we're in. Let's pick our archetype. You've access to 7 in total. And like I mentioned earlier, you can pick any weapon for your build. So you're mainly choosing the trade skills in the bottom here. I would just choose whatever trade skills suit your fancy, because you can pick up weapons once you're out of the tutorial area very easily, or just buy them off the market. Either way, your starting weapons really don't matter. You're mainly picking your starting class for these trade skills. If you wanted my personal favorite, I think the soldier is an amazing starting class. As weaponsmithing, great way to make gold. Mining, tons of rocks to smash. Smelting, it's okay. Once you've clicked through everything, you'll get access to the world. This is where you can change where you'll be going. Make sure, once again, you pick the correct server, as you're going to be locked in here like purgatory. No escape. Alright, let's break down the weight classes, as this is pivotal. Hold on, let me restart. Let's break down the weight classes, as these are essential to your journey. Open up your inventory. Hover over equipment load in the top hand left. You'll see light, medium, and heavy. You can read this, that's a lot of reading. I'm too lazy. But basically, each equipment load gives you a different roll. Light's got the long, lengthy roll. This one, hands down the most mobile. Highly recommend choosing this as you're leveling up, as getting around the map is an absolute breeze. The way you want to run light is you want light everywhere on your pieces of gear, except your chest. You're going to want a medium piece there instead, and you'll hit 12.7. This will give you the maximum amount of armor for your light equipment load. Next, let's head over to medium. For medium, you want a heavy chest, a heavy legs. You run light gloves here, light boots, light helmet, but one of these has to be medium. For me, I like it to be my gloves, so I can grip my weapon nice and hard. My sword, if you know what I'm talking about. This will allow you to hit 22.9. Wait, giving you the maximum armor for the medium loadout. This will give you a short hop, which is still very nice to get around. Highly recommend doing this loadout for PvP for melee weapons. And for heavy, well, it's pretty obvious. You just slot all heavy gear. This will give you a short little stud roll, makes you very slow, very immobile, and quite tedious while leveling. Highly would recommend avoiding the heavy style until you're max level and you start wanting to tank, as medium and light just feel way better to level with. And the final tips are coming in hot. 1. You'll get your ultimate in Brimstone Stand. There'll be a person right over here. You'll have to travel to this way shrine. There'll be a portal on top. This is how you unlock your heart rune slot. Then you want to grab your heart rune as fast as possible. You can do any dungeon in the entire game to get a heart rune. I recommend stone form. It comes from Lazarus. You don't have to do this mutated. You do this normally and you'll grab one of the best heart runes in the entire game. Next up, the perk you must have for every build in the entire game for both PvP and PvE, Enchanted Ward. This thing is completely broken. Negative 3.4% damage from light and heavy attack. You say, well, that's not all attack. Technically, it kind of is, because New World's coded in a very strange way where the vast majority of damage from weapons are light and heavy attacks. The vast majority of damage from mobs are light and heavy attacks. It's like the coders were falling asleep at the wheel and they just said, F it, put everything in as light and heavy attacks. And then they gave you a perk that can stack on all your pieces of gear to mitigate that. This will make you so tanky. It'll turn a light player into a heavy player just from running all Enchanted Ward. You need this the second you hit 65, no matter what. Please, for the love of God, get this. For your jewelry, already is nice, extra roll. If you're not in heavy load, make sure while you're leveling up as well, you head over to Season 9, click Activity Cards, and you're leveling up your Season Pass. As you level, this will give you access to a bunch of rewards that can help you out and make you level much faster. One of these rewards being XP boosts. In order to access these, look at your health bar, go right below it, hit Augments. Here you'll see Gathering XP, Proficiency XP, and Season XP, Weapon, everything you need in terms of speed running the game. If you're a gambling addict, open up your map, come over here to Cutlass Keys. This is the fastest way to get good gear the second you hit max level. You can buy a key for 5 doubloons. I'll break down the doubloons here in a sec, but doubloons give you access to a plethora of weapons and crates that can give you insanely high gear score. And it's relatively easy to farm. Where do you get doubloons? People will type XCK in chat like so. Join them. You'll have to travel down to this way shrine right here on the map, and you'll do an elite chest run with all your homies and brothers. This will net you about anywhere between 500 to 1,000 big doubloons, depending on your journey. You then come over here to the wishing well and buy some nice pieces of gear. That key that we got earlier, you can then come down here to this point on the map, and there'll be a chest waiting for you with $500 inside. That's what I call stonks going up. With that, boys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hope you found it helpful, and I hope I made you chuckle just a little bit. If I did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, become a YouTube channel member, as we're starting the Hall of Fame, and those who join will be cemented in the Goblin lore books for all of history to come. I'll be your personal plural. You can tell me what builds you want to see. And with that, I'll always be bringing you the best New World content out there.